Hello everyone, my name is Byron Reynolds. I'm a library assistant at the Auburn Public Library in Auburn, Alabama. This presentation is for current library staff of any type, so for brevity's sake, I'll be keeping certain explanations of terminology and topics short due to your familiarity with them. Today, we'll be talking about assistive technologies in the library regarding people with a vision impairment. The library as an information institution is designed to be inclusive to all people and to break down barriers between them and the information they seek, so that they may achieve fulfillment and success in their life. One part of the population that must overcome a large barrier are people with disabilities. My interest and awareness around this topic started during my MLS program, where I evaluated a local library to see what assistive technologies were present in their computer lab. I was surprised by the lack of what I saw, and I hoped to see more. I found that it would be easy to implement a couple of technologies that would have greatly enhanced people's access to information. Today, I will be focusing on people with low vision or blindness disabilities, and the technology that may help facilitate them accessing information on their internet. Libraries enhancing their services with these technologies will be able to fulfill their mission of raising accessibility through their services. First, let's define what it means to be a person with a disability. Someone with a disability, as defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act, passed in 1990 by Congress, is a person who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. A person who has a history or record of such impairment, or a person who is perceived by others as having such impairment. The Act prohibits the library from discriminating against a person with a disability, so the library must make accommodations and reach them beyond their typical services offered. A document that focuses and explicates the Library Bill of Rights to people with disabilities and the services the libraries can provide for them is Services to People with Disabilities, an interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights. The Library Bill of Rights content is aimed at the library to be able to fit most situations. The interpretation can provide the lens needed when specifics are needed, especially for a marginalized group like people with disabilities. It provides the following recommendations. The library should provide diverse materials that highlights the perspective of marginalized groups, such as people with disabilities. Add materials that have depictions of people with disabilities to meet the information needs of the diverse community. A person cannot be denied access to the library and services due to their disabilities, and library spaces should be accessible to everyone, including people with disabilities. A division of the ALA called Association of Specialized and Cooperative Agencies, or ASCLA, further approved the policies to guide libraries when it comes to people with disabilities, called Library Services for People with Disabilities Policy. They echo what is stated in the Americans with Disabilities Act, but further specializes it to the library environment. One topic included that I would like to highlight is that libraries should work with agencies, people with disabilities, vendors, and organizations to help integrate assistive technology in the library that would be effective to and help people with a variety of disabilities reach their informational needs. Collaborating with your local community is a great way to look at things from their perspectives and gain insight into what they could utilize to enhance their use of library services. To effectively communicate and present information regarding this topic, I will focus on people with vision impairment and blindness, and the assistive technologies available to libraries, such as screen readers, magnification software, and physical devices, and what it means to have excellent user interface design and HTML coding. My goal is not to give an exhaustive explanation into these technologies, but what in their basis they can do for its users. People who are considered blind have extremely limited vision, or no vision at all, so they will need technologies that allow them to gather information orally or by touch. One of the most essential technologies for people with low vision or blindness are screen readers. These applications can electronically transmit what is being displayed on the screen and use text to speech to read aloud to the user through a speech synthesizer or by touch through a braille display. People using these technologies can instruct the screen reader program or braille display to target what it speaks aloud when changes occur on the screen. Some other commands include reading highlighted text, spelling certain words, reading a string of text, and announcing the location of the cursor. Other advanced functions include reading text in a certain color, reading designated parts of the screen, and identifying the active choice in a menu. Don't worry if you think it will read every word on every page. Some screen readers use artificial intelligence to predict what needs to be read based on previous activity. Prices for screen readers can range from free to $1,200. One free option to note that can be used today if your public computers are installed with Windows is Narrator, a Windows proprietary application. Due to it being a freely available application, I highly recommend practicing with it during your professional development time or off time. Other popular options include JAWS Screen Reader, Open Book Text Reader, and Cursor Screen Reader. Lazar, in their article, Improving Services for Patrons with Print Disabilities at Public Libraries, makes a suggestion that I would like to highlight, where they recommended that a patron account be set up that is maximized for screen readers, such as having macros and settings adjusted for immediate and effective use as soon as someone logs in that needs it. People with low vision will be able to see in a limited fashion, so a technology to assist them are screen magnification programs. These programs will be able to adjust the screen size to their liking, provide some screen reader capabilities, and help them keep track of the cursor. It can enlarge text, icons, and other graphics, as well as enlarging text while typing. Due to the varied nature of the range of vision someone can have, these programs provide a large swath of optimization options, including the ability to sharpen images and increase contrast, along with the ability to fine-tune the magnification. Once again, a free Windows proprietary application is Magnifier that can be used on all Windows installed computers. Other popular products include Zoom Text Extra Screen Magnification Software and Magic Screen Magnification Software. Something to note, people may not be able to pick up on how to use these applications instantly, so make sure to familiarize yourself with the basics. This will allow you to provide basic instruction when the need arises. An example of this are some hotkeys, or keyboard shortcuts, that allows people to quickly input commands such as zooming in and out, disabling zoom, or enabling zoom. For physical devices, I would like first to talk about some inexpensive assistive technologies before we move on to the more costly ones. Some inexpensive physical devices that will greatly assist people with vision impairments or enhance the applications used include headphones, larger monitor displays, and enlarged keyboards. Let's discuss enlarged keyboards a little bit. They are cost-effective devices that help people identify keys and effectively type. Not only will they be able to manipulate their searching habits, but web accessibility standards allow people to navigate websites with the use of only their keyboard. Libraries may also want to look at getting an enlarged keyboard with a Braille key layout as an alternative keyboard. Headphones are fortunately very inexpensive. Due to that, each computer station should house a pair of headphones for people that need audio for information seeking and use. This will cause less disturbance for everyone around and afford the person using headphones their private information needs. Larger monitor displays would also offer people, when magnifying their screen, the ability to still retain more of what is being displayed on their screen. It would also help people keep track of what they're reading and where their cursor is. Onto a more costly device. A refreshable Braille display is a physical device that allows people who know Braille to read what is being presented on screen by touch. These devices, compared to headphones and large keyboards, are more costly, but the price can be offset by how much the community may be in need and able to utilize services they never could before. This technology raises different pins and braille cells up or down on the device, and is based on what is electronically being communicated by the computer based on what is being displayed on the screen. Benefits to this technology, something they may have over speech synthesizers, is that it gives direct access to information. Users can check the format such as spelling and spacing, and is quiet. The downside to these devices is that they can be very costly. They can drastically range between 3,500 up to 15,000. So it is important to collaborate with your community and see if a device like this may be needed and if it's worth the cost. Due to the expense and sometimes high cost for certain devices, a designated space for these technologies could all be located at one or two stations. It would bypass certain issues, like having devices at each station when people may not need it, or a staff member needing to loan out each device and keeping track of it where it is in the library. It would also be beneficial for people to reserve spots ahead of time, so one may have time that needed to complete whatever they may be doing. With all these technologies that can be attained, and if they are attained, the library should create material that markets what the library can do for people with disabilities. You may be wondering why we are now discussing HTML coding and excellent user experience design. It is because that goes hand in hand with assistive technologies. If the design is not appropriate or not effectively implemented, means that a lot of these technologies will not be able to work up to their full potential, leading to more frustration from users. Montre notes that many times interface designers of web pages focus on appearance and not as much correct semantic coding. One could look at W3C and their web guidelines that help develop the standards used by website designers to make the web more accessible through correct HTML5 coding and its semantics. To help understand what people with vision impairment experience, we can look at Bergert's article, What is Known About the Impact of Impairments on Information Seeking and Searching. In the study, the author discusses that people with vision impairment are expected to spend 5 times longer expecting web pages compared to people with excellent vision, leading to frustration and quitting the search process early, missing relevant information to them. One of the results from Montre's study is that most people that are blind and legally blind criticize the lack of headings on web pages. It seemed that the sample headings were written with big, bold letters denoting that they were, but in the code they were not defined as headings. Another issue in the sample web page was that the lists were not coded as lists, leading people to not know how long the lists were or that there were even lists when they were using assistive technology. This led to more time-consuming searches and possible frustration. Montre notes in the results section how the user interface was designed to ensure that it was accessible. The user interface was designed as three main parts. The header that included the logo and the main menu. Second was the main content of the current menu item. And third was the footer that contained a secondary menu. This meant that the page was distinguishable visually and audibly. In the same section, the author discusses how hyperlinks were used for each heading, meaning someone only using keyboard would be able to navigate much easier and to go straight to a desired page. The author notes that it saved the user 24 keystrokes by implementing these hyperlinks. To help ease these types of issues, it is good practice to design and implement a well-designed interface early, so later someone with assistive technology will be able to effectively use the website and its services as it was intended. You may not be in a position that makes the website design decisions, but just know that assistive technologies work hand in hand with good website and user interface design. With a topic such as this, it is difficult to discuss every nuanced aspect that comes with a disability that can be caused by a multitude of reasons, can range in condition, and the available devices that can improve access to information. My goal today was to bring awareness to a couple of these technologies, standards, and guidelines that you may discuss with your library team and staff members to improve services to these disadvantaged peoples. I would like to echo again what is said in the Library Services for People with Disabilities policy, which is that libraries should collaborate with their community and people affected by this to gain an understanding of what they may need or would like to see in their own library. One last thing I would like to highlight today, which I did a little bit earlier, is the need for marketing for current assistive technologies or any that your library does attain. Marketing material for people with vision impairments go outside of traditional marketing. Lazar in their article discusses how multiple libraries who own assistive technologies did not even market it in a format that can only be read by people with vision impairments, such as having large print or braille. People with disabilities would not even know that library have these technologies, losing all worth of having obtained or bought them. Overall, signage should be placed around the library and the computer lab. Any announcements be made during events, and have these available technologies be noted on the website under their respective pages to let people know that library can provide these services for people with disabilities. If you have any questions about the content, or if you'd like for me to send you the presentation for reference later, please contact me here. I would like to thank you for listening to my presentation, taking some of your time out of your day. I hope that you have gained some information on assistive technologies.